Well, once again, we have our buddy Doug down here sleeping whilst I record another video. He is really a crazy boy, but for whatever reason, I tend to get him at his quietest. He will be tearing through the house and attacking Jenny, his sister, and all sorts of things later. Anyhow, as I have discussed before, my store is running out of space. We've got the two acros here left for the wide drawers. We've got the 3/4 or whatever left over for that one. There's a couple of these bins that are left or that still have some capacity. And there's about 50-60% of that tower that's left. And then that's it. That's all the storage that's left in here, without getting into, taking all of this stuff out, putting up some more acro here or something on this wall, or another one of these Sterilite towers, or doubling up these bins taller, something. Without doing something drastic like that, we are quickly running out of space in this room. However, some of you may have seen a video that came out decently recently. The video says it's 9 days ago. Let's see if we refresh. I'll refresh the page because then it'll mess up program. The video came out 9 days ago, and it's from a guy named Skitz Bricks. They're in Switzerland. They do other things, but they also sell some Lego. I will try to remember to link to the video in the description. We'll see if that actually happens. If I don't, you can always Google this. But this is what they did. They took strut channel specifically, like Unistrut, I think it's Unistrut, kind of thing. There's other brands, but that's one of the more common ones. Have this running several times, and then they've had their acro mounted sideways. This is like Craftsman brand, but same principle. Is mounted sideways, each of these, and each of them, he says, could hold, roughly 100,000 parts. Now, of course, they've got more depth to work with than I do in this room. However, the principle applies. If I could figure out a way to do that in here, then I'm going to be able to maximize a lot more space. So began thinking originally we could do that on this side and have ones stack sideways and slide in and out. I was like, okay, well, what about over here? So we have this section from here where these the Sterilites and these bins start, of 6 units long that goes to here. And if I cut it back to a little bit closer to that, that'll be fine. But that's 10 feet of space that I technically have a decent amount of gap in front of it. I also have the space up here. So what I've been planning and scheming is to take their principle and do something along these lines, where I have one 10-foot long strut track mounted here. It's mounted hanging down from the ceiling joists above here, which is my kitchen floor joists. And then another one mounted along the wall, 10-foot long. Then 16 40-inch long strut track pieces that are mounted between them. Then all of these, they stay just one acro wide for their depth. So it'll slide in and out like this. So basically, if I take the acro that's facing the wall, turn it on its side to face me, and it'll be one wide, not a double like their video where they have, what essentially is, because they have got the, these are like 3. So there's 9 drawers across, where a double here has 8 drawers. I don't know the exact dimensions on these Craftsman ones. It's slightly different, but the principle applies. It's more or less 2 acros, 2.5 acro units wide, or in this case, deep. And so 2 to 2.5 acros side by side. So I would have just one, but it would be a row of them, of 16 of them, or a column, if you will, of 16 of them going down. So I would have, starting about here, and then going down, or I'd probably start my enumerating down there and come back this way. But it would be, A, B, C, D, whatever. And I would take it and go 1, 2, 3 acro tall. So this one, but up, one more in height. So yes, that would be a little bit of a reach for those parts. But I am 6'1". I have the ability to reach up that high pretty easily. Ultimately, we're counting. So I've got 6 here. 9 of these are full-size units. 3 of them are half units. So that's roughly 10.5 acro. It's a little bit more than half, but whatever. 10.5, 11 acro units. We convert that into 3 tall, full-size units by 16. Then whatever, 3 times 16 is 48. So I would get 48 acro units in the same space that I have 10.5. Quadrupling the space that all is. Of course, it comes at the cost of this sticking out a bit. It would stick out, measured about here. It's like 4 or 5 inches past the stairlights. So when I have to get parts in the stairlights, I'd just need to bring the stairlights out a little bit, or I'd have to reach down underneath and do it. The other consideration I had was I could do the floor to ceiling like they have in their video, but I don't have the stairlights are all basically full. So all those parts would have to go somewhere else. That would ultimately just go back into the acro, which for a lot of these things, it's big bulk, it's larger items. So I need the wider acro drawers, or the wider stairlight drawers, to make that stuff really work. So transferring that into smaller acro would be less efficient, I believe, than the way this is already done. But I could bring them out a little bit more in order to have more flush with the pull-out units. So that's, I think, where we're going, because I think that'll be able to make the most of the space. It'll come out roughly here. So I'll lose, honestly, sitting from my desk, if I just sit down, normally it comes to about here. So I would lose about that much, more like that much of the door. So honestly, it's not all that much. It will feel like a lot for a bit, and it'll obviously be less than in here, but that's what space is for. And I don't have space in the rest of my house to really put anything else around. So if I wanted to expand without acquiring another property, without building an outbuilding, without taking up space in a room that I don't really have space to take up, this seems like a pretty awesome option with minimal visual cost, minimal space invasion cost. Obviously, the acro and the track and all the wood to build the units will cost, but I feel like the ability to gain that many more parts is going to be totally worth it. I don't even know how many more parts that would fit, but it would be 4 times this amount that I've got. So if I'm fitting, I've got 250,000 parts, which I'll get to in a second. 250,000 parts across the entire store. So even if these units are holding less than half of that, which might be a little generous because I've got these with lots and lots of parts in them. But let's say I've got 50 to 80,000 parts that can fit in those current acro. Changing that up times 4, 50 times 4, that's another 200,000 parts plus more, thereabouts, 200 to 300,000 more parts. So I could effectively double the size of the store, more or less, and be able to not have to put this anywhere else. So that's where I'm leaning towards now. And as mentioned, we have a couple of milestones. First up, we have crossed the 250,000 parts mark. So we're over 250,000 parts here at Lucky Duck Bricks. I almost said Skitz Bricks. And we are really close to that 15,000 lot mark, which I am pretty excited about. Another fun milestone. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I don't have a video on it. We crossed 1,000 orders here in Bricklink. Brick Owl, I think, is, I don't know, 300 or something. Let's check. Let's just check. Yeah, 373 orders on Brick Owl. 83. I'm always like, what's my feedback on Brick Owl? I don't ever check to be sure if it's actually good, but I don't think I have any negative feedback. I'm so bad about leaving. Well, I used to be bad about leaving feedback, and then Bricker, you can automate it, so I just did that. Yeah, so 250,000 parts plus almost 15,000 lots and over 1,000 orders. The last milestone I want to share here in, I don't think there's anything I shouldn't be able to see here. We hit 200 subscribers. I try not to ever say like and subscribe. I don't like it when other content creators say that and go on about, hit the bell to get notifications for whenever I upload a video, any of that stuff. So without any kind of please subscribe to my channel kind of stuff, we're at 200 subscribers. So thank you for that. I'm sure some of those are subscribers that forgot that they had subscribed back when I was doing Star Trek Fleet Command videos, but that's all good. They can stay for the show. That's all for me. I need to get going and do other things. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. As always, like and I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But thank you for being with me. I appreciate you watching my content. Oh, and the other thing would be the light. I just thought of. I didn't just think about it. I thought about it before, but to mention it. The light would obviously be a whole lot different with track running across it. So that would be another consideration. I have to figure out putting the light somewhere else, putting in additional lighting, stuff like that. All things to consider. With that, we're going to go.